You know, in the middle of this mini sports marathon the GameCube had going on, I was definitely looking forward to trying out the NHL Hits series the most. Mainly because I feel like hockey games have a good track record for standing out as the best games in the sports video game genre. I mean, some of the best games for the NES are Ice Hockey and Blades of Steel, and you can go back to several other consoles hockey games and have a fantastic time. And the game was published by Midway, who are responsible for some of the funnest sports titles that rely more on arcadey goofiness and less of a professional recreation like NBA Jam and NFL Blitz. Well, thankfully I have some good news. NHL Hitz is goofy, arcadey fun where you pick your favorite NHL team, including the Mighty Ducks, very important. Pick 3 team members from that lineup and have a 3-on-3 match to see how much goals you can make for 3 rounds. The one with the most points, of course, wins. Oh yeah, and it's free for all out here, baby. Knock people down, knock their helmets off, go Super Saiyan basically, and if one opponent pisses you off enough, it's a one-on-one brawl right there in the middle of the rink, where the game stops, no refs allowed, and the only thing talking is a fist to the face. Win, and the opponent slinks off to the bench where someone else takes their place, and the game continues. All while it remains a fast and fun version of hockey, and that's all that really needs to be said. Alright, I guess there is some more to say. There is some history to this series after all. Mainly in the fact that Midway had a history of a few arcade hockey games before NHL Hitz, with their first title, NHL Open Ice 2-on-2 Challenge, and acquiring the rights to make a Nintendo 64 port of Williams' game Wayne Gretzky 3D Hockey and 2 following sequels. So great hockey games were in their blood. So when it came time to make a hockey franchise for the 6th generation, Midway were ready to start brand new, branding the series NHL Hitz. Most likely rhyming the name off another arcade sports series, NFL Blitz. Personally, I feel like they should have called the series NHL Blitz to cash in on its popularity, but whatever. Let's keep the series unique. The series began with the first title on GameCube as well as PlayStation 2 and Xbox with NHL Hits 2002, which also has one of those montage openings that you see at the beginning of every sports game. So let's take a look.
Keep rolling, 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 rolling. Keep rolling, 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 rolling.
I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't take it. Oh, no. It's in the title screen. It's in the main menu. I can't tell you why, but Hitz absolutely loved 2000's butt rock. I guess it was the sound of hockey at the time. Our series begins being developed by Black Box Games, a Canadian studio founded in 1998 by a bunch of former employees of Radical Entertainment, a company we'll be talking about a few times in future episodes. But for now, Black Box was willing to take any work they could get, working with companies like Sega, EA, and of course Midway. Black Box's first game with Midway would be Hitz 2002, as well as be their first hockey game, and as I mentioned before, they did an absolutely fine job. If we're to believe that most of the employees at the time of 2002's development came from Radical Entertainment, then it's no surprise that they would have some previous experience working on games such as Brett Hull Hockey and the NHL Power Play series, both being hockey games with a vertical view of the field. But for the more arcadey elements, we look to Midway's previous series, Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey, to see where the major gameplay elements originate from, with 3 teammates against each other and the game stopping to have 2 players beat up on each other until the other's knocked out. There's no better way to say it. NHL Hitz is Wayne Gretzky's 3D Hockey, but for the 6th generation, in a vertical view, and no Wayne Gretzky promotional name as he ended his career in 1999. But there's one element that makes NHL Hitz a much better series than 3D Hockey in my opinion. After playing and winning enough matches, you can unlock points that can go to unlocking things like costumes of what the teams wore in previous years, but more interestingly, you can unlock heads for certain players such as clowns, sharks, and aliens that can go into making a team, which you actually can do with a thorough character designer. And of course many stadiums that make home to these goofy team choices like a pirate ship and a disco. It just stinks that you have to play so much to unlock most of the good stuff. Thankfully there's another option. Just get the next version, NHL Hits 2003, where a good amount of the goofy teams and stages are unlocked from the beginning, including a, as far as I know, worthless weather option. But whatever, it looks cool. Have it snow in the disco, who cares? And there's much more to collect locked behind tasks you need to do, like finishing a franchise mode or playing as a team enough times. And this is, in my opinion, a much better option than just collecting a bunch of points to unlock stuff. They did get rid of the team-making mechanic, but I really didn't see that as a big deal, especially when they only give you attributes for one player only. How does that make sense? Yeah, I think 2003 is just a better version overall, and one of the best sports games of all time. Keeping everything I love from the first, but just making more of it. So come time for the 2004 version, there was one big problem. In 2003, EA would purchase Black Box Games during the development of Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2, the 6th installment of the Need for Speed series. And they must have done such a good job because EA decided to make them the head development team on the Need for Speed series going forward for the next couple of years, and also changing their name to EA Black Box. Also in that time, EA must have saw the good job they did on the NHL Hitz series that they gave them another NHL hockey series to do, which they would also be the lead developer on for the next couple of entries. And to close out the end of the 2000s, worked on a little series you probably know them best for, the Skate Trilogy. We'll see them a couple more times over the course of this series, and one more time as Black Box Games, so keep your eyes open. But with the lead developer of their hockey franchise gone, Midway needed someone else to take the role. And that role would be taken by Next Level Games, another Canadian studio, but one that just recently founded, and was ready to produce their first game. And their first game would be NHL Hits 2004. Oh, sorry, NHL Hits Pro. Pro? Yes, for this version we jump from 3v3 to 5v5, much like a professional hockey game, for that more professional experience. Although with everyone beating up on each other along the way. Beyond that, it's still the same arcadey hockey game we all know and love, other than fights which go from a watered-down fighting game style to rapidly tapping the button it tells you to press for a 3 out of 5 match. Oh, and the goofy teams and stadiums are gone, which is just a big disappointment. I can easily sell non-hockey fans on a hockey game where you just play as clowns and babies on the moon, but now it's just nothing but the, at the time, NHL hockey roster. Alright, Next Level did give us at least something new, a mode called Pickup Hockey. Instead of whoever has the most points by the end of a set time wins, Pickup Hockey instead has teams get to a certain score to win, and instead of a hockey stadium, here you have casual locations like a frozen pond, and a neighborhood for some street hockey, and instead of professional teams you play as a few fictional teams for some casual play. It's fun enough, I suppose, if you prefer this way of playing. It's just kinda sad how lifeless this game feels without the announcers to add commentary. I mean, they're in here for the main game and the loading screen making some lame yet hilarious jokes.
Here we've got a fan who asked, what is the deal with all the jerseys in hockey today? When he was growing up, he said it was 2 jerseys, and now what do they have, 5, 6 jerseys?
Yeah, they got your alternate jersey, your weekend jersey. We were kids, it was whites at home, colors on the road. You know, Tim, it leaves me with one thought, shirts and skins.
Harry, a fan wants to know, why don't the coaches in hockey dress like their players dress?
Like what? A mullet and a turtleneck?
No, I think they're referring to the uniform.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah. Harry fan wants to know how many countries are represented in the NHL today.
Correct answer is many countries.
You don't know, do you?
No, I don't. But it's great, though. We got players from all over the globe. I mean, truly, the best players in the world are now playing in the NHL.
Yeah, that's true.
But here, it's just the sounds of ambience and not a lot of sound coming off your players. Hits Pro definitely loses a lot of charm from 2003, but that doesn't mean it isn't bad or even mediocre or average. It's still a great time, and I'm glad a series like this can change things up rather than just stick to the same copy-paste feeling a lot of these yearly sports games can feel like they have. Unfortunately, for whatever case, this would be the final game of the NHL Hits series and the final hockey game Midway would publish. As of 2010, they would file for bankruptcy. Hits Pro did get good reviews, but if I had to take a guess why Hits ended, is that the sales just weren't there. I can't tell you if there's a huge audience for arcadey hockey games compared to arcadey basketball or football games. At the very least, I'm glad Midway went out with a bang. As for Next Level Games, they continue to get plenty of work in the following years, although none of their games getting quite a good reception, with one exception of course. They managed to make a few titles working for a little Japanese company called Nintendo, and through working with them they would make a long-awaited sequel to Punch-Out!, the Mario Strikers duology, Metroid Prime Federation Force, and what many people consider their best work would of course be the 2 sequels they did to Luigi's Mansion. Nintendo really saw the best in Next Level Games, and come 2021, Nintendo would straight up buy them, turning them into a subsidiary. I honestly can't wait to see what games they have to make now being under the big end. I stand by my statement that I think the Hits series is easily one of the best sports series ever made, and coming from someone who clearly doesn't care about anything sports related besides what Mario is up to, that says a lot. It's just a ton of fun, and I highly recommend giving it a shot, especially when you could play as a hockey-playing woodman.
Sound the alarm, someone's ready to go on.
Steven puts his team up by 2.
They say the backhand is the toughest shot to stop for a goalie. I think he'd agree.